Hello, everyone. Great to see you again. In today's video, I'm going to teach you about the formation of nouns. How new nouns are created by adding prefixes and suffixes. All right, let's get started. Formation of nouns, Part D. What does formation of nouns mean? The formation of nouns means how nouns are created or built from other words like verbs, adjectives, or even other nouns. In English, we often form new nouns by adding prefixes at the beginning or suffixes at the end to a base word, also called a radical or root word. There are four main structures of noun formation, and here we're focusing on the first one, the simple noun. 1. Simple noun. A simple noun is a noun that's usually made by adding a prefix or suffix to the base form or radical of a word. For example, action, base noun. Inaction, noun formed by adding prefix in. Ease, base noun. Unease, noun formed by adding prefix un. So, a simple noun can be changed in meaning by adding these prefixes or suffixes. A. Prefix addition to a noun. Prefixes are small parts added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning. In this section, the prefixes show contrast or opposition, meaning they create the opposite of the original meaning. For example, in this lesson, we're going to learn how new nouns can be formed by adding prefixes to a base noun, also called a radical. Prefixes are small parts we add before a word to change its meaning, usually to create an opposite or negative meaning. Let's look at some examples together. 1. Action. 2. Inaction. When we add in to action, it becomes inaction, which means doing nothing or lack of action. 2. Regard to disregard. Adding dis changes regard to disregard, meaning lack of respect or attention. 3. Ease to unease. When we add un to ease, it becomes unease, meaning a feeling of discomfort or nervousness. 4. Convenience to inconvenience. By adding in, convenience becomes inconvenience, which means something that causes trouble or difficulty. 5. Truth to untruth. By adding un, we get untruth, meaning something that is not true or simply a lie. 6. Like to unlike. When we use un, like becomes unlike, meaning not similar or different. 7. Possibility to impossibility. By adding im, possibility turns into impossibility, meaning something that cannot happen. 8. Ability to inability. Adding in creates inability, meaning lack of ability or not able to do something. 9. Availability to unavailability. With un, availability becomes unavailability, meaning not available or cannot be used. 10. Mobility to immobility. Adding "im" forms immobility, which means not moving or unable to move. 11. Advantage to disadvantage. Using dis, advantage becomes disadvantage, meaning the opposite of advantage or a weakness. 12. Difficulty to indifficulty. This word is rarely used, but it shows how adding a prefix can create an opposite or negative meaning. So as you can see, prefixes like un, dis, in, im, and il are very useful in forming new nouns with opposite meanings. Note, we use im before words starting with b, m, or p, like impossible, immobile. We use ill before words starting with l, like illegal. We use ir before words starting with r, like irregular. For other cases, we use un, dis, or in. Meaning of these prefixes. Contrast prefixes. Each prefix adds the meaning of not or opposite of. Un means not or the opposite of. For example, untruth equals not true. For example, unavailable equals not available. Dis means lack of or opposite of. For example, disadvantage equals not an advantage. Disrespect equals lack of respect. In means not. For example, incomplete equals not complete. Inconvenience equals not convenient. Im, il, and ir are special forms of in used before certain letters to make pronunciation easier and smoother. Important notes. Prefix rules. The paragraph gives special notes about when to use im, il, or ir instead of in. 1. Im is used before words starting with b, m, or p. For example, balance, imbalance. Possible, impossible. Moral, immoral. 2. Il is used before words starting with l. For example, legal, illegal. Logical, illogical. 3. Ir is used before words starting with r. For example, regular, irregular. Responsible, irresponsible. 4. Un, dis, and in are the most commonly used general prefixes for showing negation or contrast and can often be used based on convention or sound. A. 2. Prefixes meaning wrongly or badly. Main idea. Prefixes like miss are used before a noun to show that something is done in the wrong way, badly, or incorrectly. So when you add miss before a word, it changes the meaning to indicate error, mistake, or wrong action. Let's go through some examples together to understand this better. 1. Translation, mistranslation. A mistranslation means a wrong or inaccurate translation. For example, the document had a mistranslation that changed the whole meaning of the sentence. 2. Fortune, misfortune. Misfortune means bad luck or something unfortunate that happens. For example, losing his job was a great misfortune for him. 3. Use, misuse. When we say misuse, it means using something in the wrong or bad way. For example, misuse of power can lead to serious problems. 4. Behavior, misbehavior. Misbehavior means bad or improper behavior. For example, the teacher punished the student for his misbehavior in class. 5. Understanding, misunderstanding. A misunderstanding is when people fail to understand each other correctly. For example, there was a small misunderstanding between the two friends, but they solved it quickly. 6. Class, misclass. To misclass means to wrongly classify or place something in the wrong category. For example, the file was misclassed and ended up in the wrong folder. 7. Time, mistime. Mistime means to do something at the wrong time. For example, he mistimed his jump and fell into the water. 8. Adventure, misadventure. A misadventure means an unlucky or unfortunate event. For example, their hiking trip turned into a misadventure when it started to rain heavily. 9. Climbing, misclimbing. Misclimbing means a wrong or failed climb. For example, his misclimbing attempt caused him to lose balance. 10. Visit, misvisit. A misvisit means a wrong or mistaken visit. For example, visiting the wrong place or person. For example, we went to the wrong office by mistake. It was a misvisit. So remember, whenever you see miss at the beginning of a word, it usually means something was done wrongly, badly, or incorrectly. Affix, miss, meaning wrongly or badly. Function, to show mistake or incorrect action. General rule: when you see miss at the beginning of a noun, it shows that something went wrong, was mistaken, or done poorly. A3 prefixes meaning before. Main idea. Prefixes like pre, for, and ex indicate something that happened before a certain time or position. Pre means before in time. For means before in position or ahead of something. And ex means former, someone who used to hold a position. Prefix pre means before. We use pre to show that something happens before a certain time or event. Example 1. War. Pre-war. Pre-war means before the war. Example sentence. The country had many pre-war buildings that still stand today. Example 2. Payment. Prepayment. Prepayment means paying before the due time. Example sentence. You get a discount if you make a prepayment for your order. Example 3. Test, pretest. Pretest means a test taken before the main test. Example sentence. Students took a pretest to check their knowledge before the final exam. Example 4. Time, pre-time. Pre-time means before the time. This word is rare, but it follows the same rule. Example sentence. He arrived pre-time, so he had to wait for the meeting to start. 2. Prefix for also means before or in front. We use for to describe something that comes before in time or in front in position. Example 1. Father, forefather. Forefather means an ancestor or someone from a past generation. Example sentence. Our forefathers fought for freedom and independence. Example 2. Head, Forehead. Forehead means the front part of the head. Example sentence. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. Example 3. Name, forename. Forename means the first name, the name that comes before the surname. Example sentence. His forename is John and his surname is Smith. Example 4. Arm, forearm. Forearm means the part of the arm before the hand. Example sentence. He wore a bracelet around his forearm. 3. Prefix X means former. We use X to talk about someone or something that used to hold a position but doesn't anymore. Example, president, ex-president. Ex-president means a person who was president before but not now. Example sentence. The ex-president attended the ceremony as a special guest. General rule. Pre means before in time. For example, pre-test, pre-war. For means before or in front of. For example, forefather, forehead. Ex means former. For example, ex-president. Summary. These prefixes help us understand when or in what position something happens. Use pre for events or actions that happen earlier. Use for things that come before or in front. Use X for someone or something that used to be in a position or role. Target sentences. My forefathers built this village long ago. The company offered a prepayment discount. The ex-president now works as a consultant. She rubbed her forehead because of a headache. We studied the pre-war economy in history class. We're going to talk about the prefix re. The prefix re means again or back. When you add it to a word, it shows that something is being repeated or done once more. Let's look at some examples together. Building, rebuilding. Rebuilding means building again. Example, after the storm, they started rebuilding their house. It means they built the house again after it was damaged. Announcement, re-announcement. Re-announcement means announcing something again. Example, the company made a re-announcement of the event after changing the date. 3. Collection results in recollection. Recollection means remembering something or collecting thoughts again. Example, I have a clear recollection of my childhood days. So here, recollection doesn't mean physically collecting, it means remembering or bringing memories back together. 4. Consideration inspires reconsideration. Reconsideration means thinking about something again or reviewing a previous decision. Example, after hearing the new facts, the judge agreed to a reconsideration of the case. 5. Print yields reprint. Reprint means to print again. Example, the newspaper decided to reprint the story after fixing the mistake. 6. Action prompts reaction. Reaction means an action in response to something. Example, Her reaction to the surprise was pure joy. So, a reaction is not just acting again, it's an action that happens because of something else. 7. Examination requires re-examination. Re-examination means examining again or taking another look. Example, the doctor recommended a re-examination after a few weeks. 8. Doing results in redoing. Redoing means doing something again. Example, he didn't like his drawing, so he started redoing it. 9. Discussion, rediscussion. Rediscussion means discussing again. Example, the team held a rediscussion about the new marketing plan. 10. Settlement, resettlement. Resettlement means moving to a new place again, or settling again in a different area. Example, the refugees were given support for resettlement in a safer region. 11. Proposal, reproposal. Reproposal means proposing again, suggesting or offering an idea one more time. Example, after his first proposal was rejected, he made a reproposal with better details. Summary. So the prefix re always adds the idea of repetition or doing something once more. You can think of it as again or back. Examples: rebuild, build again. Reconsider, think again. Reprint, print again. Redo, do again. In short, whenever you see re at the beginning of a word, it tells you that something is being repeated or revisited.